Hello YouTube people. I don't know how many of you guys out there use moving heads, but I've got a couple of moving heads that I use on the bigger events, and I've always placed them on the box, as you can see here, or on the case that I've got for them. It's a Pro-Lite case, standard moving head, iSolutions 5, which I think has been rebadged. In fact, I think it may be badged up itself. I have looked at trussing, and one of the things I looked at a little while ago was what they call a totem pole, a metre or 2 metres, but I personally found them really expensive because you've got to buy a big bracket for the floor. Some guys put moving heads on trussing above their heads. I don't have that type of system. So I came across two things in recent times. I came across first of all a moving head bracket from djstandswithaz.com, and it's very simple. There's the tray, and this just goes on top of a speaker stand. One speaker stand, two speaker stands. Very simple, and a retaining screw, retaining nut to hold it in place. Fairly heavy. This was under £30 each, delivered to my door. And it's metal, and it's quite heavy. The other thing I found in my travels was this thing from Maplins. It's a hi-hat adapter. It's plastic. It's a £5, and again quite a substantial retaining nut or screw. Actually quite bigger than the DJ stands. But I can't fit this to my moving head because I don't have the right bracket to fit this on the bottom of that, or to start drilling holes. And this, I'll show you very quickly, simply just sits on top of the stand, and that's it. I'll come back to that in a little bit later on. But what I'm going to look at is those of you guys who've got moving heads and trying to figure out something else to do apart from that. And I've seen this set up before, a lot of gigs or gig logs, put it on top of a box or the case. And I'm going to put that on top of one of my speaker stands here with this iSolution 5 moving head. I've got two stands. One's a fairly straightforward stand, and the other one, I don't know if you've seen them, ultimate stands, where it's air pressure. So by speaker on top, pressing the button, it releases it. And I'm going to try to put my Skrimkin Black on it, so to see what it looks like, see what you guys think. Okay. So to fit it is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to, if you can see my big hand's not in the way, you just slide it on top and just give it a few taps. Generally speaking, that's it. Now, that's not set at the highest position, and nothing's ready for it yet, but that's basically it. That's how it fits. And obviously you'll turn this here to make it tighter or looser, but it's pretty snug tight. It's pretty snug fit, so I don't think I'm going to need that. But I'm going to put it on and see what you guys think of this option. So I've now fitted the moving head on top of the bracket, on top of the speaker. Got a lot of glare coming from behind because it's daylight. If that makes it any better. But does that look better? See if I get back further. Does that look better for the punters, as opposed to putting it on the stand? The one problem I did come across, which I just noticed, is trying to fit the Skrimkin onto something here. Now I'm using a little bracket, which you may not be able to see, to hold it in place. The retaining nut on this side, I'm trying to hold on to it, but I really need something to go across here, some kind of bracket here to hold this in place. I'm just using this because I just noticed that issue. It's not torn, it's just the eye is supposed to go on something, so I'm just hooked it around the retaining nut and put a little clip there. Hopefully you can see that maybe a bit better here. Any ideas on that one? I need a clip, I think, to go around the bracket base to hold on to the scrim. But to me, I think that looks a little bit better than sticking it on the case. But you're going to need more than one set of speaker stands. I said I've actually got two sets. So any comment on that? So does that look better? I only take out my moving heads on the bigger events because they can be overwhelming in some of the smaller events. But it's something I've been thinking about for some time, and this moving head bracket from djstands.com, it stands with a Z, seems to fit the bill. I said it's delivered to my door for less than £30, that's each. I just bought one, being very cautious in case it wasn't very good. But it's quite substantial. It hasn't fallen off yet. I was thinking about strapping the moving head around the bracket, but I don't think that's going to go anywhere really. It's pretty, moving it around, it's pretty stable. The legs are quite far apart to give it stability. I'll probably set it a little bit further back because people can't see the yellow tapes, black and yellow tapes, which I do use on my stands because it's all blacked out with a scrim. But that's an option. So I don't know if you guys were aware of this bracket, or you may use other things. But trussing for these things, 1 metre is quite expensive. Buying the second set of speaker stands is definitely much cheaper. So any comments on that? And the other bracket I was left with was that Maplin bracket, which is the hi-hat bracket. So as it's such a small space, these little micro go ball type of lasers I think get lost on the gantry. I do use them time and time again, but when you're hanging them up on your normal gantry, I think they get a bit lost. And then the most annoying thing to me is these blinking adapters that hang on to these things. But there's no weight on these things, so I put it on a speaker stand, and I don't know. Let me switch on the light. Put the light on. So I don't know. Again, stand back a bit further. The glare of the window, I'm afraid. I think I might have to move that to get a better view. Let me just move that a bit. So I just moved away from the window. So I don't know. I can't get I can't get too back on that. Further back on that one. But it's just a small little laser, normally strapped onto the gantry, and this device for £5 could come in handy. I bought two by mistake. Well, not by mistake, because I found something to use now. Again, you need a spare speaker stand, or two if you want to get two sets. I did try looking at possibly fitting the second one here, but there's not enough width. If you can see, there's one will finish here, and the other one will go along here. I have tried larger lasers like the cam ones, etc., but there's not enough. The holes are actually in the wrong place, as they say. But again, I don't know. Could you fit this in a corner somewhere, away from the gantry, once it's got a plug, just a plug to plug it in? Also, you can tilt it, bring it down. I've just tied the mains cable around it so it won't move a great deal, but also you can move it around. It clamps onto one of the brackets. There's no weight on these things, so it's pretty safe. Tilt it up, tilt it down. I actually used this American DJ Go Ball for the hearts, which I use on the first dance, on the floor and on the girl's white dress. Myself, I don't tend to use it otherwise, because I've got a lot of lasers, defrags and all sorts of different ones. So yeah, so for £5 from Maplin's, it's a hi-hat adapter. Thought maybe I'd try it. I may try it when I go to another gig. As I tried the larger ones, but the holes in the bracket seem to be in the wrong place. But again, there's hardly any weight. The great thing is the scrim will go on it, because the retaining screw to hold it in place is here, and it will go around without any problem at all. Unlike the DJ Stands one, where a bit of improvisation is required on that. So yeah, I don't know what you guys, leave your comments. It's the first time I've done anything like this. May look at some LED, American DJ LED uplights, possibly later on. Just trying to get a little bit more into the uplighting. I bought a set to see how it goes with a controller. Why did I choose these will be the question, as opposed to all the others, and that may look at another time. But today was just to look at this stand here from DJ Stands with a Z.com. Less than £30 delivered to your door. to put your moving heads on. It's very straightforward. Screws onto the end of the speaker stand, put the moving head on top, and that's basically all there is to it. The only thing I'll point out is that it probably needs protecting, because I've only had it for a week, not been out on the road yet. I've just been trying it. I've already got a few scratches on it, so it probably needs to be wrapped up in something to protect it, banging around in the back of the van or the car, or banging against another bracket or against a metal stand. On that, and on the footnote, American DJ LED Messenger, hardly used it really. Anyone local, I'm in Northamptonshire, who may want to buy it. I really didn't use it as I thought I would do. So that's a footnote. So there we go. So this American DJ Micro Grobo is on this hi-hat adapter from Macklin's, which is less than £5 as an alternative, and the DJstands.com moving head bracket. So hope it was a useful thing. I found some of these things useful myself, and as a great man said, how's about that then? And let's go disco. And PS, actually, by taking the stands out in daylight as opposed to in halls where they're not the brightest sometimes, I noticed that the stands obviously do get knocked about. Even though I do carry them I do carry my speakers in different bags. Here's one I did earlier on to protect it when I'm transporting it around. They each have their own bag. As you can see, I'm a great believer in in putting things in bags to protect them and looking after them. But they still get marked. And as they were out, I got my black permanent marker. It's a black permanent marker, and I just went round and just touched up with the marker places that were scratched while they're out, because otherwise I wouldn't have bothered to. I wouldn't have seen them, because in the daylight you can see it all. Just a little footnote: once you have touched them up with a permanent black marker, don't touch the stand. Leave it alone. Otherwise they'll rub off on your hands or clothes or something. So just leave them. That's just a little maintenance thing I did, because I noticed the scratches and marks in the daylight as opposed to artificial lighting, which is I think we normally look at our gear under. So just a little footnote: permanent black marker. Then just go around and just touch up the bits. When you look closely, it is shiny, but obviously again in halls or venues you probably won't see it, and if you've got a scrim around it, you probably won't see it at all. So there you go. It's a little maybe a little tip, I don't know.